All right, cool. I'm excited for this, bro. It's episode one of Commercive podcast, and honestly, this couldn't have been a better duo right now. We got Tommy in the house, for episode one. Yo, Tommy, if you want to give yourself a little intro, real quick. From Virginia to Florida to now, kind of like living together. Um, give yourself a little intro, bro.
Yeah, first off, thanks for having me on, Nick. Appreciate it.
Appreciate it.
What's
Well,
up, everybody listening? My name's Tommy. I'm 22. I'm originally from Virginia, but I'm now living in Florida. Actually, living with this dude right here. And yeah, I've been in the e-com space for close to 2 years now. Uh, Done a little bit of everything when it comes to like drop shipping. Now doing a little bit more with TikTok Shop and just short form content creation. But even my history goes all the way back to when I first moved down to Florida, which was about 4 years ago. I like just graduated high school, and I'd been doing some like online business at the time. I moved down here with one of my business partners, and we were kind of doing some stuff on the side. I started getting into sales and did that for about 2 years, doing various different sales gigs. But then ended up transitioning over to ecom, and I'm sure me and Nick will will get into all the different things that we've both gone through. And yeah, again, thanks for having me on, bro.
yeah, bro. Honestly, your story is one of the most inspiring entrepreneurial stories that I've heard, because you came kind of from gaming to the business world to now kind of like the corporate world, if we might say, right? And bro, honestly, every entrepreneur comes, I feel like, comes from like that gaming era, Fortnite, Call of Duty. So, I mean, bro, like, who said that gaming let's touch base on that, bro, because I feel like that's one of the top tier parts of the Tommy lore. So, I mean, what really got you down here in the first place after you graduated?
Yeah, so I mean, we can go all the way back. I like to say, when it comes to gaming, like growing up, I'm sure a lot of us, especially people that are in ecom now, like used to play games and used to be pretty freaking good at them too. I don't know what it is with like being like hyper obsessed with like a video game, gaming, things like that. Like that just translates really well into business, that kind of obsession and competitiveness. Um, and business is just, video games, but in real life, basically. And so what I had gotten into, this was obviously like middle school, high school, super big gamer. I played like sports, but I was like, all right, I wasn't like super good. So I kind of stopped doing it. I just liked playing games. And so essentially what I had gotten into the most was Fortnite. Like a lot of people, Fortnite was super popular. Around the time I was in high school, and I was playing it like as many hours of the day as I could to try and get as good as I could. But unfortunately, I low key wasn't that good at gaming. I was all right, but I wasn't gonna like be that top level person. And so I still loved the community, right? The gaming community was amazing to me. It was just I was just obsessed. But I knew I was never going to make it as like a professional or as a YouTuber or anything like that. So I was looking for other ways that I could get into the industry, things like that. And that's when I realized that there's gaming's a business, right? Like if
Right.
you guys know the FaZe Clan, I usually like to use this example a lot. If you know FaZe Clan, it's not just the creators. Well, now it kind of is now, but it used to be like there's like a CEO and there's a marketing manager and there's people that make this whole machine run. And that's kind of what piqued my interest the most, was like learning the business skills and like how everything works on the back end, as opposed to being like the face, the popular streamer, the popular YouTuber. That wasn't really my vibe. And so I started working for a small gaming team that was kind of like FaZe Clan, but like way smaller. We had like 50 to 100K followers on Instagram at the time. And like some of you guys may know who it is, but we'll leave out all the details. But I was working with them, basically doing all the marketing for the team, like the social media post, dealing with all the streamers, YouTubers that were on the team, all that. And it was completely unpaid because one thing about the gaming industry, if you guys don't know, there's not a lot of money to be made there unless you're like a top 1% streamer, YouTuber, content creator. And so I wasn't making like any money, but I loved what I was doing. I mean, I was just a high school kid. Like I didn't know what I was
How
doing.
much how
I
much
was getting followers on like Instagram and Twitter. Like people were like looking up to me because I was like kind of clouded up, I guess, in the gaming space. Um, but I
I got
wasn't getting any money.
asked though, bro. How much money were you making during like the times where you were doing gaming? Because at high school, when I was in high school, like $1,000 was a lot of money to me. So to you, you're in this like community where you're making a whole lot of money. So how much money were you at? Were you making back then?
Bro, I wasn't making any money. Zero.
At
I was
all?
not getting paid a dime. It was all
It was
passion based.
all for the
I was
code.
kind of getting hustled a little bit. I'm not gonna lie. I was getting hustled a little bit. I had my like high school job at Five Guys. Like that's how I was making money as a high schooler, right? But I wasn't making any money. Okay. And I thought I was going to, which is how we kind of get to the point where of me moving to Florida
Yeah.
from Virginia. Because in 2020, we all know what happened, like the lockdown, all that.
Quarantine.
And I basically was at a decision point of like, all right, am I going to go to college? Am I not going to go to college? And I really didn't want to go. Like I got accepted. I was like always like pretty good in school, but I didn't actually go. And I decided to take a gap year and just kind of think about what I want to do with my life. And I'd been talking to obviously these people that are running this team, and obviously I'm talking with them about what I'm doing, how I'm thinking. And one of the guys I worked closest with was like, yo, like, we're going to get a content house in Florida and we want you to be a part of it. And I was like, this is like a dream come true. Like for me, like I was gonna be able to move to the content house. It was like this whole plan, like sick
What, what,
house in
what was
Florida.
running through your head through that time, bro? Because if somebody told me, "Yo, I'm about to buy a content house and you gotta come here and live here," like, yo, so much emotion should have been running through my fucking body. What was going through your head right there, bro?
Yeah,
Sad.
no, I was super, super excited at first. Like just that natural rush of excitement of you're seeing all the possibilities in the future of like what your life is gonna look like. But then reality quickly kind of set in place. And I had to tell my parents, who were like my parents, I love my parents to death, but they were definitely like very strict. They're very traditional, like stick to the beaten path, go to college for 4 years. Like that's their whole vibe, right? And so I had to tell them what I was trying to do. And when I did, it was like the craziest like moment ever. Like they were just stunned. They had like no idea what I was talking about. And it was basically going from like level 0 to like level 1 and like slowly explaining like, all right, this is what I'm doing. This is the path I'm taking. This is why I'm doing it. This is why you should let me do it. And I was just trying to convince them as much as I could. And luckily they trusted in me and believed in me. And that's basically how I ended up moving down to Florida in the first place.
Running an e-commerce business comes with many different challenges, especially when it comes to order fulfillment. Late deliveries, high shipping costs, and customer complaints will negatively affect your business. This can lead into payment processing holds, which can eat up your profit margins. That's why I'm excited to introduce Commercive, the sponsor of this podcast. They handle everything from manufacturing to storage and shipping with no hidden costs, and their dedicated WhatsApp support team is always on hand to make sure that you're well taken care of. Commercive offers 5 to 10 day shipping worldwide from China, with same day processing and USA warehousing available for brands at a competitive rate. Having served over 3,000 e commerce sellers, Commercive has earned its reputation for reliable fulfillment. It's super easy to get started. Just click the link in this video and visit commercive.co for a free quote. What did you tell your parents to let you move down to Florida? Because if I told my parents, yo, like I'm about to move down to Florida, and how old were you when you were about to move to Florida?
I was 18.
If I was 18, like my parents heard that I was going down to Florida with like absolutely, random people that they don't know, they would have flipped on me. But I mean, like for you, like, were your parent situation like one of those things where like, they trusted you a lot, so they were like, oh yeah, like, we know that he knows what he's doing, um, or was it a little bit more of like, mm,
Yeah, I mean, they definitely trusted me just inherently. Um, and what I did, and this is what I tell a lot of people to do, because I have a lot of people these days that, you know, they ask me certain questions about like, hey, like I want to move out of my parents' house and be on my own, or like I want to pursue this, I want to, quit my job and do this. And I have a lot of people that come to me and ask me for advice. And you really have to like explain like whatever your outcome, the outcome you want, you really have to explain, like let's say the parents, for example. Um, I literally wrote out an entire like Google Doc. I wonder
no,
if I still have it. I don't know what email it's on. It's somewhere out there. Um, I
you
wrote
have
an entire
a
Google Doc.
presentation for them, like, yo, you got to
Yeah,
sit,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
listen to
Yeah, this
this.
is like it's like because not only is it's showing effort, but it's also allows you to put all of your thoughts together,
Yeah,
especially for like parents that are a little bit older, more traditional. It's like they'll appreciate that effort of you actually trying to explain it to them. And if it's something that you really want to do and you believe deep down, if you have that like conviction and that belief, like this is what I want to do, this is why I want to do it, these are the pros, these are the things that could go wrong, but if they do go wrong, this is what I'm going to do. It's like you're basically like letting them like understand, because your parents love you, they want
yeah.
the best for you, but they also want you to like not be a complete idiot and do something stupid. And so that's really the main thing, is like you they just will let you do it as long as you have a plan and they trust that you'll actually do it, and you're not just gonna, you know.
What what was your driving factor during that point? To kind of just make that move.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of at that point I had been exposed to online money in a small bit, mainly from gaming, because I saw like how much these streamers were making, how much YouTubers were making, how much professional gamers were making, like the Fortnite World Cup, if you guys remember
Yeah,
that, bro. And like these like 15, 16-year-old kids are making like 500K $1 million bags just from like winning a tournament, right? And so I knew that there was other ways to make money aside from just the traditional path. Like I'd never really gone into ecom yet. I hadn't done anything like that, but I knew that there were other ways. And when it came to, I think the main thing wasn't about me chasing my dream. It was more so I knew I had such a bad feeling about college, bro. I had such a bad feeling about it. Like I got accepted. I toured all the top schools in Virginia that I got accepted to. And I was like, this cannot be it, bro. Like the feeling wasn't there. Like I was not excited. And I didn't want to go into like 100K in debt, which is like what it is now for a 4-year degree. I was like, that just doesn't make sense. And I didn't even know what I wanted to do. Major, I didn't know anything. And so that was really the main driving factor was, all right, I'm not going to go to college. So like, what else is there? And this kind of opportunity came up. So I was like, it just felt like God's timing, honestly. And it's led to a lot of crazy things.
oh yeah.
So
I mean, where you are right now, you're standing here, Florida. We literally live in a $1.4 million house, and it's just that accumulation of time. Because how old are you in business terms? Because now we have your actual age, but you've been in this space a lot longer than probably me as well. But how old are you in the business space?
I would say 4 to 5 years. I would say because I'll kind of transition into like what I got into next, which was sales.
Yeah.
And so here comes the the story where I moved down into this content house for gaming, and it was basically just a complete disaster from the rip. Like it was a complete disaster. I moved and I still wasn't making any money, and so I had to get another job at least to like help me make some more money. but I didn't want to get some like fast food job, server job. Like I didn't want to do that. I was like, let me get some sort of, let me find an entry level business type job. Maybe I'd like that'll be good. I can learn like some business stuff, like whatever.
Makes
And
sense.
so I applied, and literally it was the first app or the first interview I did. They hired me like on the spot, and I was like, all right, bet. Like I got a job now. We're good. The bills are gonna get paid. And I really liked Florida, so I'm like, I'm just gonna stay here and work this sales job. And that's kind of what really was like a 180 shift, right? So I
Yeah.
moved to Florida. That was the first one. So I'm living on my own. I'm with like two other roommates. Like I was still living with the guys doing the gaming stuff, but we like slowly kind of dissolved everything after like a couple of months of me moving there. And I really got into sales. And anyone that's done sales before knows how, powerful it is and how much it really helps your mindset and just like overall business like acumen, I would say. And that was like a complete like 180 shift in my life because I was like super shy before. Like I wasn't really good at like talking to people. And with sales, it's like it literally you throw yourself into the fire in order to like learn these skills on a daily basis. And that really like just kind of set me up, and you get exposed to a lot of like mindset content, money making content when you're in like a sales role. And so that's what I really gravitated to and what I really loved. And I did that for about a year. I was really trash at the beginning, but I slowly learned. I moved up the ranks, started, interviewing people, training people myself. I had like a little sales team that I was managing too. And that was just a really great experience. And I kind of bounced around different sales offers for about 2 years or so. And then that's when I got into ecom, which I'm sure we can kind of touch on.
I mean, I have this post because it's gonna this post is a bit more to kind of like more to what we're gonna talk about later on. But uh, you posted about working in Walmart, standing for 2 hours and just talking to like 200 NPCs all day long. Uh, I mean, bro, like it's freaking insane how you kind of just transitioned from gaming and then just started going into like sales. And then were you still gaming during that time? Like what were you doing during the time that you were just doing the sales job?
Yeah, so I mean, the sales job was like pretty bottom of the barrel. And I'll kind of explain like what exactly it was. So I was working for AT&T, or like a subsidiary of AT&T. So we were like a third party selling service where instead of being in like the AT&T store or being like at a call center, we were actually in like Walmart's, Target's, Costco's. So if you've ever been to Walmart or Target and you see like an AT&T person in the electronics section, that's what I did. So it's like you walk past them and like they come up to you and they try to sell you cell phone service, Wi-Fi, all that stuff. So that's what I was doing, where I was literally like standing in Walmart for like 8 to 10 hours a day and like cold approaching like 200 people, these like 200 NPCs, and just trying to sell them AT&T. And I did that for like over a year. Um, and yeah, you can just imagine how crazy that sounds, especially if you're into ecom. Um, but anyone that's been through sales door to door, anything knows the struggle and like the character that builds. And so I really wasn't doing that much outside of work. Like it was pretty
think
like
uh, do you think that kind
what?
of built do you think that kind of built who you are now, like to like in a sense, because now you're kind of doing similar things but are like at a higher scale, so
Mhm. No,
uh
yeah, 100%. 100%. Um, Sales is like something that everyone does and needs to know, especially if you're getting into ecom or just business as a whole, like knowing how to sell not only like a product, but just yourself to get like job opportunities, get clients, things like that. It's super important. And yeah, it was definitely like I said, it was like the 180 switch in my life for sure.
so then we went from gaming to now sales. Now we're moving into you getting into ecom. and you did a little
Hmm.
bit of Etsy drop shipping yourself, bro. And
Oh yeah.
how is that story, bro? Because I'm in the drop shipping space. I do Shopify drop shipping. Like Commercive, we fulfill for drop shippers. So I mean, how was that? What's the Etsy lore on that, bro? How did you even come through and say like, I want to do Etsy?
Yeah, great question. Etsy, it's awesome, bro. Etsy was awesome for me. I'll kind of go into my thought process of why I got into it because sales was at a point, and you get to a point in sales, either like you're the best salesperson in the world and you can just like continuously move up into bigger and better offers to where you're making like millions of dollars a year just doing sales, or you're just like kind of beating your head against the wall because you're like okay at sales but not amazing. I'm not going to say I'm the best salesman in the world. That's definitely not true. I was pretty good but like not amazing. And so it was just kind of like boring for me. Like it got extremely repetitive. I even tried like high ticket sales where, even though you're working from home, you're still like always on calls. It wasn't the best, right? I just kind of got sick of it and I wanted to get to something else. And so I learned about drop shipping. I learned about just e-com, and it sounded like something that obviously I would be interested in doing, because it's kind of taking another step up in business. Like with e-com, there's a lot of things you need to learn, how
Was
to
it
get manufacturers.
was there someone specific who kind of got you into Etsy? Like, did you watch somebody on like Instagram? Because that's how most entrepreneurs kind of go into the space of e-commerce or something like that, right? Like, for me, I watched an influencer on Instagram, and then like, was that the same case for you?
Yep, exactly. That's exactly what it was. So I had thought about doing Shopify drop shipping, but I kind of had known the risk that goes into that, and especially the learning curve is like very, very big. Especially if you're not in a good resource or a good community, or you have good suppliers and things like that, it can be really, really difficult. And so I did come across Etsy drop shipping, and just when I compared the two, um, the barrier to entry for Etsy dropshipping was way, way lower than Shopify dropshipping. And that's something that I was kind of interested in at the point because I didn't want a whole lot of risk. And this was going to be a side hustle for me at the time. So I didn't just quit sales and just go all in into ecom. I was still doing my sales, but I wanted something like kind of chill I could do slowly and just
Right.
learn it as I go. And Etsy was the opportunity. I found a guy, he seemed pretty legit. And so I joined his program just to kind of speed everything up. Actually, that's not true. He had a bunch of free content. This is some sauce, is that use as much free content as possible that's on the internet, because if someone has really good free content, their paid content is probably going to be good too. And so I had started Etsy. I was doing like a couple thousand a month in profit in my first few months just from free content. And I was like, all right, now I want to join this group. And then that's when things kind of picked up a little bit more.
Right, 100%. And I mean, so you didn't quit your sales job. At what point did you quit your sales job? Like, was it a point where you were like hitting big strides in Etsy, or not really yet?
Yeah, so I did Etsy for about a year. And so it was good. It was Etsy. If you guys know, I mean, you guys all know drop shipping. There's ups and downs. It's
Yeah,
never just a smooth sailing ride. And so the big thing with Etsy is that, especially if you're in the US, it's getting new stores open, right? Like if you can only make one store for my name, my information. And so in order to get new stores, like you kind of have to pull some strings and do some stuff. And that's, what I did. Obviously it was all legal, of course, right? All legal. Um, and so I had to pull some strings, but eventually it just got too much. And what I had originally joined it for was that ease, like that easy barrier to entry. Um, and then it slowly just started getting super, super difficult. And all my accounts got banned within like a 2 to 3 week time period. And revenue just went basically to zero.
right.
And that was kind of like I was forced to just quit. Like I could have kept going, but I was like, I need to find something else to do. And then that's when we got into the TikTok shop game.
Top game, 100%. I have a question for you because I feel like this is for a lot of the entrepreneurs kind of coming into the game because it was the same for me where I kind of for that first year in the e-com space for me, I kind of had to detach myself from the money. Um, I know that you posted about it on Twitter too. You have to detach because like when everything goes down, like your stores go down and you're waiting for that, money to hit your bank account throughout the whole year, were you detached from the money while you were building your Etsy business, or how was that like? Because I feel like again, a lot of people coming in, they just want to make a quick bag, and
Right.
it's a lot of skill.
Yeah, yeah. There's so much that goes into it, and if you want to make good money, you have to get really, really good at this whole game, and it takes a lot of failure, and it takes a lot of going through things. I would say for me, what really helped me was I was still working my sales job literally the entire time I was doing Etsy. So the problem with Etsy is I was never confident enough to go full time in it because I knew that at any moment I could literally have all my accounts banned and just go to zero. And so it was very simple. Like I had a really chill sales job and I was basically paying like all my bills with that money. And then
Right.
everything that I was making from Etsy was just pocket money at the time. And I was doing both at the same time. Like I was working on my Etsy stores while doing my sales job. Like it was super easy to do. And so I think the biggest problem with a lot of people is they'll go into like drop shipping, for example, with no stream of income that's like guaranteed, and so it's really hard to detach yourself from money when you're 100% relying on a form of income or one stream of income,
Yeah.
especially if you're a newbie and you have no idea what you're doing because you're going to blow through money. And you're going to go through those down moments. And that can be really hard, like on your mental. And so I always tell people, like, the whole strategy that I used was I'm going to have a job that's going to pay my bills and I'm gonna have leftover money from that job. I'm gonna invest it all into the skill, and then that money I make from that is what's going to just I'm gonna keep stacking, stacking, stacking. And that was kind of what I did for a year straight. And I got to a point where after the year had ended, all my stores got banned, and I pivoted to something else. And I had a lot of savings. I had a lot of cash to work with, just from like never really stressing about money because I knew all my bills were paid. That's when I took like my big risk of like going all into something.
And the risk pays off, bro, honestly. But again, like you said, you're gonna have to have like that security. Because the same thing for me, I kind of just had like savings that I was able to have, going into this business. If I ever had some type of, you know, if I got fired from my job or if I lost something. But like that's very true. You have to have that savings, and then from here on, now we go into like what you're doing now. Like the big bucks. Now this is where you leveled up fully. So you
Yeah,
went from gaming to now Etsy to now a little bit of shop, would you say? And then you went into like full management. Now,
right.
so I mean, drive us through that, that experience of how did you find TikTok shop?
Yeah, so it was just another moment of I just call it God's timing because there's so many moments in my life where it's like I moved to Florida, right? And then that just got me into sales that really like made me mature like as a person very quickly. Um and then there was like certain times where a job, you know, would end and then I'd find a new opportunity in sales, right? And I got to learn new things there. And then I do Etsy, I get into Etsy, and then all my stores get banned after a year of building them up and getting them to like, solid numbers. And then that's when I learned about TikTok Shop affiliate. I believe I saw it on Twitter or something. And this is like right when it started kind of catching some heat. It was super new at the time. And I had seen some people talking about it on Twitter. And then my mindset was, okay, can I do this with no money? And at the time you could. And I was like, bet, I'm gonna do this and I'm gonna get into it. Because the main thing I wanted to learn was how to make content and how to go viral. Because I knew like, all right, Etsy's not really working out. I had made some good connections like in that group that I was in before. So I'm like, if anything, I'll just do Shopify drop shipping. Like I have some money now. Like I could learn how to do that with the skills that I learned from Etsy. Um, and yeah, I just wanted to learn how to make really good videos. But I got my account up for TikTok Shop Affiliate, and within like the first month, I made I think like nothing crazy. It was like 2K, I think, 1 to 2K in profit just from like making videos promoting products on TikTok Shop and getting a commission for each sale. And I was like, hold up. Like I was
Hold
like,
on.
there's something here. There's
Yeah.
something.
So how was that like, bro? Because I mean, it took you a year with Etsy, and then you hop into this space, unknowingly, or you were known to sales, but you just start making money like 1 to 2K a month just from that. How did that feel? What was
Yeah,
the
no, it was what's up?
what was your process to do that? Because just take us through that.
Yeah. So I mean it was awesome because I think I had peaked on Etsy and my stores got banned like literally at like the peak point. So like revenue went to zero. I still had my sales job, but the sales job like it wasn't like insane money, right? Like I said, it was just really paying the bills for me. And
100%.
so I needed to supplement that income that I had lost from Etsy. And so just getting that proof of concepts was so important. And literally, yeah, it was just really, really important. And I kind of went through the same process where I had gotten some success from free resources out there. And then I started looking for, paid groups, mentorships, and I joined a few. There was one that really kind of catapulted my success. And I was so confident in just my abilities and what I had kind of built up to at this point to where I was confident enough to like leave sales, leave the 9 to 5 for good and really go all in on my own business, I guess you could say. Like TikTok Shop Affiliate, it's basically your own business, right? And that was kind of the big leap that I took about February of this year was I quit my job and went all in on TikTok Shop Affiliate and things just started going up from there.
Rolling through. Was this your turning point? Because everybody has that turning point where it's like, oh shit, I'm kind of on the right up now.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that definitely was. I feel like I've had a few in my life, but I think this is probably the biggest one in terms of the growth that I've had in the amount of time.
Right.
Um, like I think being able to quit your job because you're making so much money from your business is just such an incredible feeling because it's scary. Like it's genuinely scary. Like I delayed it for a really long time because I was honestly scared to do it. And I feel like a lot of people go through that kind of mental battle with themselves. And now being on the other side, it's just like, bro, like I've helped so many people like quit their 9 to 5 jobs. It's like it's super funny. It's super funny.
How does that,
Um,
how does that conversation go when you're talking to people? Because you're at a level where you're kind of mentoring other people as well.
yeah,
So when people come and ask you for that, like, hey, like I'm about to quit my job, how does that conversation go?
yeah. I mean, it depends on the person. I typically ask like some other qualifying questions just to see like where they're at. Like obviously, we all need money to survive, right? I think people will just quit their job and be like, put their back against the wall and hope they figure it out. And to some people that works, but to other people that just drives you insane and it's just not the smartest thing to do. And so my thought process was this was number one, is this the right opportunity vehicle? And do I feel confident that this is sustainable for at least 6 months? Right. And then the second piece of that was, do I have enough money saved up to where if I quit my job and I make no money or maybe I make $1,000 or $2,000 a month from this, am I still going to have enough money to survive and pay all my bills?
Yeah.
Right. So that was a big thing for me. Remember, I'm living on my own. Right. I'm still at the time, I'm 22 at the time, but like living on my own, like I have my own bills to pay. I know some people that are living at home, it's a little bit easier. You don't have to pay rent. You don't have to deal with all this stuff, right? You don't have a lot of expenses. But for me, that was very important. And so that's really like the main thing that I would say. And if you're already making that, like, let's say you're making 4K a month from your job, right? Are you making 4K from your business too on the side? I wouldn't quit your job until you can pass that income for at least like a month or two and you have that like confidence in yourself. And then I also think you got to ask yourself, like, all right, what's the worst case scenario, right? Worst case scenario, you completely fail, you blow through all your money, and then you could just go get another job and start all over again. But at least you tried,
Yeah.
right?
It's all
And
about.
so that's really like the kind of checklist I would say, right? Do the right opportunity, right? Crypto is going crazy right now, and I have a lot of close friends making insane amounts of money right now in crypto. I haven't touched it personally because I honestly don't know how sustainable it is, and it's just something that I don't really want to touch. Um, and so
Like,
that's
if
like another thing.
you were to touch crypto, would you kind of like wait for people to kind of like see where people go with it and then kind of hop onto it? Because you do have friends in the space.
Yeah, I do have friends in the space that are making a lot of money with crypto, but it's just kind of not really aligned with what I'm doing. And I just see it as like kind of shiny object syndrome right now. And like I'm making great money with what I'm doing right now, my business. And the last thing I want to do is distract myself and give like 50%, even 75% to what I'm doing currently, and then give like other attention to crypto. Because I feel like that's just going to take away from all of the momentum that I've built for myself with this business and this opportunity that I'm in. And I just don't really want to lose that. I don't really see the upside and like the mental space that that takes up because trading's a crazy game, not only just technically but also just mentally, and it's just not something that I want to do. Even though people are making
People are
hundreds
making
of thousands
ridiculous
of
money.
dollars, millions of dollars.
It's actually an insane space, bro. But it
Yeah.
was it's kind of like everybody says, right? Don't fall for the objects shiny object syndrome. I talk about that all the time. And if something is already working for you, just double down on it. I mean, you kinda, now let's really get into touch to what you're doing now, bro. Because you went from being a creator to now managing some of the biggest campaigns, and co-managing some of the biggest campaigns that in the shop space. So how is that, bro? Because now you're literally controlling the marketing side of things in Goli, Neurogum, Taily. So how do you feel doing that coming from the ecom background?
Mhm. Yeah, so with what I do now, basically I manage TikTok shop brands and Amazon brands and am essentially like their marketing, head of creator marketing. And so we hire, TikTok shop affiliate creators, TikTok creators, and basically make viral content, pushing the product either on TikTok shop, pushing the product to Amazon. Um, and yeah, like Nick said, like Goalie, Neurogum, two of the brands that I'm helping manage right now on TikTok Shop, and yeah, I mean it's really just like an accumulation of all of my past experiences, which is so cool to think about. Like it really is like all of my sales experience and my ecom experience that I got into, my experience as a TikTok Shop affiliate myself, and actually creating the content and getting millions of views myself all boiled into kind of this agency model that I'm in and basically working with these, insane clients and getting incredible results just managing their TikTok campaigns, getting tens, hundreds of millions of views every single month, hundreds of thousands of dollars, millions in sales. Yeah, it's awesome.
What do you feel like? How do you feel like TikTok Shop has changed the world, bro? Because being part of these big campaigns, you get to see what's going on in like the big in the big boys, you know?
hmm You say like how TikTok Shop's kind of changing the game right now? Is that what you said?
Because we're technically in a TikTok Shop gold rush. This is like
Yeah,
Amazon. Like, a lot of people compare this to Amazon back when it was, to 2017, I believe, or 2014. But, now we're like the TikTok Shop gold rush. So
yeah.
how do you see that?
Yeah, it's a it's definitely a gold rush. It's definitely a gold rush. I think a lot of people are skeptical still on TikTok Shop, which is totally fine. I would argue that it's not really about TikTok Shop. It's more so about video shoppable content is something that's very, very powerful. Where TikTok is the first to really adopt it and have a streamlined model, good UI, like a good actual marketplace for this to succeed where you can see a video of something that you like, whether it's a product, whether it's an event, whether it's a restaurant, whether it could be anything. I really believe in the next few years you will be able to buy anything on TikTok because with how they're treating affiliates right now, with how the whole TikTok shop ecosystem is set up, you're going to be able to link whatever thing you want on TikTok where they're even partnering with Amazon right now just for off-platform links, where they're partnering with their competitor just because they're really going into shoppable video content. So, for example, right, if I was trying to sell this phone right here, then I could buy it on TikTok Shop, right? I make a video. The iPhone 15 is linked on it and you can buy it directly from that video. Or let's say I go out to Oceans, that restaurant that
Yeah.
me and Nick love, right on the beach of where we live at, and we make a TikTok about it. What if we were able to link a reservation, their website, or something, and then you could book your reservation for that restaurant from that video that you saw on TikTok? Right? Instead of having to like go and Google it and do all that stuff. Like these things are happening. Like you see a concert that you really want to go to or a festival like Coachella, and you can buy a Coachella ticket from TikTok Shop because
TikTok.
someone made a video about Coachella. Right?
Yeah.
Like this is how we're going. Like I don't really use Google anymore. I do use Chat GPT. Shout out to Chat GPT. But a lot of the time, if I want to see something or get information about something, I'm going to TikTok and I'm watching a TikTok video, right? Like this is kind of how the world is shifting to, and that's what I'm really bullish on, not just like, selling supplements on TikTok shop. Like it's way bigger than that. So,
It's becoming a search engine now. Everybody
right.
just has so much trust in it. And it's come to the point where we're kind of shifting, from Instagram to just these like just a social media platform to now a news outlet to now like where the place where you buy, competition with Amazon. I mean, I kind of want to get your feel on what do you think of your what's your thoughts of TikTok getting banned on January? Because I feel like that's one of the biggest things people are really talking about, and throughout this whole entire year it was talked about.
Yeah. So, TikTok has a 0% chance of getting banned in my head. If it does get banned, feel free to clip this podcast and roast me. I don't care. I don't care. TikTok has a 0% chance of getting banned. Um, I don't think it was going to get banned even with Biden. And I'm pretty sure Trump just announced a few days ago that he has no plans of banning TikTok. I think it was a lot of fuss, a lot of noise. Um, and stuff like that takes years to even implement as well. So there's nothing really to worry about. It's like it just doesn't really make sense. Like if you have a year inside of a gold rush like TikTok Shop right now, like why not just run up a bag and learn how that game works? Because what if it doesn't get banned? Then you are a year ahead of everyone else. And so that's what I think. I think it was a lot of fluff. But even then, if it was to get banned, like I said, I'm bullish on shoppable video content. TikTok just happens to be the best at shoppable video content. Okay. I know there's an HQ, Instagram, Meta, and they're seeing what TikTok Shop is doing. And I guarantee if they were to TikTok Shop was to get banned, I'm sure Zuckerberg would try to implement his own version with Reels Shop, right? Instagram Shop. They already have like an Instagram Shop. It's really trash, but they could probably improve it if they put a lot of focus there, but they're not. And so I think that's something that's even going to come in the future as well. I think people are going to try and compete with TikTok Shop after they see how successful it is. So yeah, it's not getting banned.
Yeah, no. I mean, honestly, Instagram Shop is such an interesting um idea because Instagram was the first to do it before TikTok Shop, but they failed. Like I don't see Instagram doing it as big as TikTok. And I do see like some brands using Instagram Shop more, but I still think TikTok Shop is such a great opportunity, especially just getting into ecom, going the shop route first, learning the skill sets of doing the marketing just as an affiliate in an affiliate level is so much more beneficial than just hopping into the e-com world straight away. And I feel like you could agree with me as well.
No, yeah, I 1000% agree. Like I said, when I got all my Etsy stores got banned, I had to make a switch, right? I had to change to something, and I was either going to do Shopify dropshipping or TikTok Shop affiliate. And so I kind of weighed the two. I was like, all right, Shopify dropshipping takes a lot of money. You have to learn all these skills in order to actually be good, like product research. I mean, I had learned a good amount of the skills just from doing Etsy, like product research, dealing with suppliers, doing that whole thing. But it's still a lot of thing running ads. I had never ran an ad in my life. I had no idea how to do that. And that's something I would have to learn. And you have to spend money on ads too. So if you suck, you're just going to lose all your money. And so I was like, let me learn at least how to make the ads. Let me learn how to create the content. There's a low startup cost. Let me get into this and I can make money while doing it. So it was really a no brainer for me. And then I started learning how to make viral content, started getting millions of views, different products, different strategies. Um, and that kind of just led me to like where I am now. If I wanted to do Shopify drop shipping right now, I could easily make my own creatives and I'd have to learn how to run ads. I might have to hit up Nick to help me with that one.
Yeah, no,
But
100%.
yeah, it's just really the barrier to entry and just learning one skill and putting your focus on one skill and mastering it is really, really powerful.
Yeah, bro. And honestly, and you kind of touched a little base on this, but I feel like getting into these e-com spaces and Discord servers, just having that influence to help you out is a really big thing. Did you have that while you were getting into all of this?
Like getting into shop and all
Like
that.
Etsy shop, the gaming situation.
Like community, like paid groups, or you're just saying,
No, more like a mentorship. I know you went through a mentorship with shop, but what about Etsy? Did you ever go through that? And
yeah, I did.
what's your belief in the mentorship scenario?
I think mentorships are insanely effective. And I think everyone should get into a mentorship at some point. The problem is that there's a lot of people who don't know what they're talking about and are deceiving you online with marketing, and they're painting a picture of this life that they've never actually lived for themselves. And so your job is you need to know what's real and what's not and learn what's fake, learn what's real. And I was luckily very good at that. I know a lot of people who've gotten scammed by people. They've bought courses, they've bought communities, they got zero value out of it. I've only bought, I think, two or three mentorships, courses, and they've all been amazing. I've all made my money back 10, 100x, right? And so Yeah, that's really like the main thing. Mentorships are really good. Um, there's learning from people really speeds up your learning. You get to see hands on. You get to learn from people who are where you want to be and are doing the things that you want to do, making the money that you want to making the money that you want to make. Um, and so yeah, the main thing if you're going to join a mentorship is just to really vet them, see if they're legit, and just really trust your gut.
Yeah, no, 100%. I feel like I was like the same way too when I was doing mentorships, because so many people just try to push you to join. Because I'm like an addict in information, so it's like if you're trying to sell me a product and info, I'm your guy. Come sell me your courses, man.
Yeah.
But I mean, Shay, what would you tell your younger self, bro? Now that you're kind of, well, this is not where you want to be. It is, but
Hmm.
it's not like at the level that we've seen. But at
Right.
this point right now, what would you tell your younger self?
Um, what age?
Your younger self coming out of high school.
Okay. Hmm. I don't
Or
know, bro.
actually the night before you were telling your parents that you were doing the gaming, that you were moving to Florida.
I don't think I would just say do it. Like I don't know. I'm not big on like the regrets and like I'm very grateful for the position that I'm in and all the past experience, the past failures that I've gone through. And I'm like very thankful for the trajectory that's led me to where I am right now. And so, like, if I was gonna say anything to my younger self, I don't know exactly what I would say. Like, I wouldn't really change anything that I did. Um, I would just say, like, in terms of like just mindset and belief, like, try to put your focus into like. I wish I started ecom sooner. I wish I started a side hustle sooner. Right? Like, I was doing sales for a minute and I was feeling pretty burnt out,
Yeah.
but I was just kind of coasting with that, and I wasn't really trying anything else. And so yeah, I would just say if you have a job and you like, don't want to be in a job, you need to have a side hustle and you need to be actively pursuing that. And it takes time, it takes effort, right? You're going to have to sacrifice a lot of things. Like on the weekend, if you don't want to, if your boys hit you up, you got to tell them no because you're grinding on your store, whatever it is.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's really all I would say. Which is like start sooner, like do more sooner. That's really what I would be.
And what's your plans for the upcoming years?
Upcoming years. Oh, I don't plan too far out in advance. Just because I don't know. Right? Like my life has changed so much in the past 6 months, even 3 months. Right? Like I moved out, I moved into this house with Nick and Rob Santerre. And like that was a huge step, right? Um, getting this house that we're in right now, and it's really hard to plan out in the future. I would say in the next 6 months to a year, I want to stick in this current vehicle that I'm in and scale it as crazy as possible and just kind of keep networking within this space because I really do believe that there is a gold rush happening and there's just a lot of potential that I want to tap into personally and a lot of the people that I surround myself want to tap into. And so just really sticking the course and just getting better every single day, learning new things, meeting new people is always a big thing, networking, especially at the stage that I'm in. I would say when you're starting out, like trying to go like 0 to 5K, 0 to 10K a month, like networking is like not that important. Like you low key just need to get a mentorship, a good mentorship, and like actually just work really hard and learn the stuff. And then you'll get to that point. You'll get to 5 to 10K a month pretty easily. But like once you start getting to like 20, 30, 40, 50K a month, you have some money that's like really coming in, it's pretty easy to start networking because you have more to offer, you have more skills to offer other people, and then that's how you kind of like take that trajectory up and really scale your business. So that's going to be a main focus of me going forward. Um, and yeah, man, like I don't really know what else to say. Like I'm just locked in on this opportunity,
I mean,
and
you're locked in every single day, bro. You know, it's like
yeah,
ever since we kind of moved into the house, you just been locked in. I barely see you out. If I do see you, we're out playing pickleball or getting dinner. But you know, it's
yeah,
like
yeah,
I see the growth, and it's actually insane, bro. Because it went from us talking on the phone, just us meeting through Santerre, to like us officially just kind of moving down into the house, which is actually crazy, bro. And I want to touch base on that because, bro, it's what 3 months since we've been together, and we have like this really good dynamic. And you, me, and Santerre, we just really move well together. Did you expect that to happen? All those like 3 months?
yeah. I was hoping for it, and I didn't get any like red flags really. Like the main thing with people, I mean, the good thing, like I was just talking about it before, like I want to obviously be networking, meeting new people, um, doing business with new people as well in the
Right.
future. Like those are my goals. And like I said, like when you're just starting out, networking is not that deep, but once you start making some money, it becomes a lot easier to do. And like we were all in that same position to where like a lot of the problems that come with like people is like money related. And I know that we're all, doing
Yeah.
good. We're all
Yeah.
taken care of. And so really it just comes down to like what are we do we have a shared vision? We're all kind of working towards the same thing. Like we're all normal normal people. Like no one's weird or anything like that. And yeah, we get along really well. We have a lot of things in common.
It's
And a
funny
lot
how
of
you,
that's just
yeah.
based.
It's funny how you say the God's plan, because I feel like that was for me. The shift to Miami was that, yo, like this is like a part of God's plan. I was like, yo,
Yeah.
moving to Miami, because I've talked to Rob to move to Miami like for a few months now, and then once he hit me up with that idea, I was like, holy shit, this might be happening for real. And then
Yeah.
we got into the group chat together, and then it was like the days were coming by, and then we booked the B&B, and then we met up in person, and everything was just a vibe, bro. And it just been really great from like the start to now. And I feel like
Yeah.
there's so much more growth for us in the house individually, that it's just an amazing thing to have here, because like I feel like we talked about this a few months back, when it comes to the entrepreneurship life being so lonely that you kind of lose that ability to have a social life. And I feel like
Yeah.
that's what I kind of have. I mean, you had a social life like while you were doing this, but most people, they don't have that. And like, to people that are trying to like do ecom, they're through the screens, but this whole entire real life scenario is so much better. It's
Yeah.
a lot better. Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, bro. Honestly, it's we could end it at that. This has honestly been a really good podcast, bro. Thank you so much for Tommy for coming in podcast episode number 1. Um, all the links, Tommy's Instagram and Twitter is gonna be dropped in the links down below, and you can stay tuned for episode number 2. And yeah.